skyline, so very hard to see. The bands come around to the impeding stop sign. When did our free time flee? Hey, do you hear everyone screaming? Regular occurrence now. And do you feel that uneasy feeling for fame to come somehow? We've been working so steady. Can it happen already? For our last day of summer, our last goodbye, for our last shred of childhood, our last year cry, and the next day of winter, when work is done, we will meet in the city to play our song. But people of every kind can turn on your stereo. Some music to ease our mind. Just reach for that love. Seems every day there's an old ghost story to freeze your paranoid mind. And every night until morning glory, nightmares will rob you blind. Can we have just more time? Summertime to unwind. It's the last day of summer, your last goodbye, for our last shred of childhood, our last year cry, and the next day of winter, when work is done, we will meet in the city to play our song. The last day of summer, the last day of summer.
The Last Day of Summer, a vintage performance by the band Atomic Rod. Salutations and hello, I'm the Mad-Hattan Hatter, and you're listening to New York's finest indie rock on Sirius XM, The Note. The finest in music and the true stories behind it. We have Atomic Rod in the studio today.
Atomic Rod!
That's one of them now. Reunited for the first time in 10 years, back when they were all still in high school. And you're probably already familiar with their lead singer and bass player, Raven Jones, formerly of the all-female band Run Rabbit Run. And if you've never heard of Run Rabbit Run, shame on you. Between you and me, Raven, I always thought you were the hottest member.
I'll be sure to use that quote on my website.
Ooh, please do. Hey, listeners, just a reminder that tickets are still on sale for the Cortland Music Festival. Not only is it going to be hosted by yours truly, but Ceratops will be headlining. It's a huge roster of great bands, including the Atomic Rod Reunion.
I've been waiting to do that festival forever.
Oh, we're excited to have you. That voice that you're all hearing at home is the evil genius of Atomic Rod. The band's guitarist, singer, and rockin' the Kurt Cobain look, didn't even comb his hair this morning. This is Jeff Callaghan, or JJC if that's too much to remember.
Good to see you again, man.
You too. Last time you were on our show, you were promoting the duo act with Tom Teller.
Yeah, that's kind of how this whole reunion thing got going. We had a gig at the Lion's Den in the Village. This was only a few months ago, and at the last minute, Tom couldn't make it because his cat had diarrhea or something. So I called Raven, who happened to be free.
You said diarrhea.
All right, hold that thought. That crazy voice you keep hearing is the band's drummer. He came into the studio wearing a suit, not sexy enough for my standards, but he rolled up his sleeves to show off those muscles of his. He's Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, I go to the gym and I pump up my arms.
You went to the gym wearing a suit?
No, I had to come from work. Gotta pay that ever-dreaded rent?
Don't even get me started on rent. And seated next to him, the lovely lady dressed in all white, keyboard player Dr. May.
Thank you. I should disclose, I don't actually have a PhD. It's just a stage name. I do have a bachelor's degree in film from NYU. That's New York University. I planned on obtaining my master's, but I got sidetracked working on a film.
May, you don't need to tell him your life story.
Now you know why she's Dr. May. My name for her, by the way.
And last but not least, we have the sexy lady in black leather herself, the one and only Raven Jones.
What's up, everyone?
And I mean that with all honesty. You look super hot in that leather jacket and those leather gloves. Also, literally. It's like 80 degrees in the studio.
And I say this with all honesty. You look absolutely ridiculous in that cosplay top hat of yours.
Oh, hey, come on. It's my signature hat. I actually wrote my signature on the brim, see?
Well, I got my initials printed on my gloves. Distribution deal. That's how I pay my rent.
Hey, where do I get one of these distribution deals?
I think you have to sell your soul to Satan.
Sell your soul to Satan. That's how I got this job.
Doesn't surprise me.
Anyway, Jeff, let's get back to this reunion gig. What was that like, not having played together in 10 years?
It was incredible. It was like we just picked up where we left off. Rachel and I were teenagers again. Sorry, Raven and I.
Rachel Fuller. That's her real name, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't your real name Melvin?
Anyway, Jeff, you were saying...
Yeah, we just hit that first gig on the fly. It was just me, Raven, and Conan. The bar was packed. The audience was going crazy. I told them, we gotta keep this going. Raven called May, and, well, we've been playing all over the tri-state area ever since. It's like our second chance to make our mark on the world.
Atomic Rod is back! Together with our combined forces, we will triumph over the forces of evil.
Okay, let's take a listen to the first song the three of you played together in 10 years, with Raven Jones singing. It's called Let Me Go, and it is definitely a departure from what we're used to hearing from her with Run Rabbit Run.
Hell yeah! This was the first song JJC and I wrote together. I think we were just trying to be the Foo Fighters at the time.
Raven wrote it about May. She wasn't even in the band yet.
Yeah, I felt very self-conscious about it.
Well, you are quite inspirational, May.
Well, not inspirational enough.
Well, sounds like we got a lot to talk about, but let's hear the first Atomic Rod song, Let Me Go.
sound so good!
Well, at least I sound so good.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me. I'm 17 and angry, mostly at Jeff.
Amazing how little has changed.
I gotta know, where does a 17-year-old high schooler find all that rock and roll angst?
Mostly came from my older brother, Henry. He's the one who would blast the Smashing Pumpkins from his room when I was young and impressionable.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, your brother served in the army during the Iraq War, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. I'm in a good mood.
Fair enough. Now, I do want to get a little history out of the way here. I did a little bit of research about this band, meaning I looked it up on Wikipedia. It says Atomic Rod was formed at Franklin High School in Montclair, New Jersey. Ugh, New Jersey. Already off to a rough start.
Whoa!
Don't
no,
do
you
it, man.
don't.
Them's
You better
fighting
watch
words. Do it.
yourself, Frankie High representing.
All right. I'm sorry. But the band gained a following, cut an EP, did an East Coast tour, TV appearances, and were even in talks for a record deal. But at the end of summer, following senior year, guess that's the last day of summer, the band broke up. Raven became a founding member of Run Rabbit Run, toured all over the world with hit records, while JJC pursued a solo career.
Yeah, should have been us touring the world together with hit records.
So where did the name Atomic Rod come from?
I came up with it.
You did not.
I did!
No, you didn't.
I know I came up with the atomic part. See, I wanted the band name to start with an A. That way we'd always be listed first in record stores, or online, since record stores don't exist anymore.
Yeah, he originally wanted to call us the Aardvarks, but I put a stop to that.
Well, it is logically sound.
Thank you, May. I'm glad somebody appreciates the work I do around here.
And I came up with Rod. Because, it's a funny word.
Jeff,
Rod.
how did you and Raven start working together?
Actually, there's a song of ours that pretty much tells the story of how we met in detention.
Well, then we should definitely listen to that. And May, you're in the band at this point, right?
Yes, this was actually their first original composition I helped arrange, specifically the bridge section where I play the piano arpeggios, which I notated meticulously by hand. This was before I bought notation software. which
Okay,
made
lots of information here. Let's listen to how Jeff and young Rachel met. This is called Crazy Jane.
One more year, it's so crazy. One more year, don't get lazy. One more year, it's so crazy. Staring at the dirty white wall in a brick-lined detention hall, where I first laid eyes on her in our last school fall. She's got a black leather jacket, black hair untamed. She's known as Crazy Jane. At least that's what all her friends tell me. She's known as Crazy Jane.
I've signed the signature 1,000 times on my binder, waiting for the bell to chime. And I turn to see him looking my way, raise an eyebrow. Hey, you got something to say? Well, my imagination talks instead, with these endless reels running through my head. A flesh tone, cyclones, raging hormones. I know how this story ends. Call me Crazy Jane. No need to slander my good name. I ain't looking for a lover, I just want a friend. And I know you want the same. So call me Crazy Jane.
Late at night, dragged to the gym for a talent show that no one should win. But here comes Jane, guitar in hand, singing something only she and I would understand. After I follow her out to the parking lot and call her name when she's in earshot, and I say, you wanna get together for the end of September? But she looks like she's posing for a mugshot. She says,
This place is trash, neon posters blow. It's like a glammed out, stoned out, popular pony show. Words in one ear, out the other. Gotta get the hell out of here and know somewhere we can jam and find a friend who says, I know someone at the bitter end. So I call up the Barbarian and tell him to carry in his drums at 9:45. Call me Crazy Jane.
Another tune from Atomic Rod, On the Note, written by JJC and Raven Jones. Sounds like you two are morphing into your own Lennon-McCartney songwriting team.
Hey, I wrote two. I was the George Harrison of the group.
Conan, you were the Ringo of the group.
Oh, I don't want to be Ringo.
Yeah, if anything, May was the George Harrison of the band.
I would equate my contributions more to a player like Rick Wakeman from the band Yes.
I met Rick Wakeman, actually.
Really?
Yeah, Run Rabbit Run did this charity festival. Rick came out, and he was absolutely incredible. Not as incredible as May.
Oh, stop it.
Was that where you got your picture taken with Eric Clapton?
No, that was... I forget where that was taken.
I still say you plastered that picture all over the internet just to make me jealous.
Yes, that is exactly what I said to him. I said, hey, Eric, my ex-guitar player is like the biggest fanboy of yours. Can we take a picture together and totally make him jealous? And he was like, right there, Missy, let's get him then.
Why does Clapton sound Australian?
I don't know, Conan. I don't sit around doing impressions all day like you do.
So, what about you, May? You seem like you would have been too serious a student to be seen with these crazy people.
Well, I was mainly a student of classical piano. I started at the age of 4. In first grade, which coincidentally is where I first met Rachel, I performed a recital of Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata. I studied jazz improvisation, later on listening mostly to...
May, you want to fast forward a bit while we're still comparatively young?
Oh, sorry. Well, Jeff was the one who asked me to play keyboards at one of their rehearsals.
And I'd say I was right to do so, wasn't I?
Yes, Jeff, you were right. God forbid you wouldn't be right about something.
See, now you're finally making sense.
Well, definitely made sense to get May in the band. She was going to follow us around everywhere, considering she had the hots for Jeff.
Ah, now we're getting into the good stuff. So come on, let's hear the Fleetwood Mac details. If there was an Atomic Rod orgy, I want to hear about it.
Well, if you must know, May and I started going out and we had a very sweet relationship. At least when she wasn't forcing me to read one of those Harry Potter books.
Which you never read, by the way.
Now tell us the truth, May. How was the evil genius in the sack?
I was 16.
So what? I lost my virginity at that age. It took a while.
Don't answer the question, May.
I wasn't about to.
Hey, this is the stuff people want to hear about.
I have had a long career not discussing the intimate details of my sex life. I am here to talk about our music and our band, regardless of what drives up your ratings.
But this is...
Yeah, I'll tell you the intimate details of my sex life.
But listen, this is part of Atomic Rod's story, is it not? And I'll tell you what I find so interesting, Raven. All those old pictures of you and Jeff sharing the mic is like the two of you had this Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks connection going on.
You do know Stevie and Lindsay hate each other, right?
What I mean is, Jeff's in a band with his girlfriend, while intimately collaborating with another woman.
Hey, don't knock it, it worked. We're playing Atomic Rod songs 10 years later, and they still sound awesome.
Atomic Rod!
Here, I'll tell you. So there was this one song that came to me one day in biology class, insert joke here. It was kind of a Green Day-ish thing, but I had a vision of May playing this epic piano solo for the vamp, which she did. We even got her to sing a lot on this number.
Oh, be still my beating heart.
Well, I'm not exactly a featured vocalist. Jeff and Rachel sing most of it.
Yeah, the song's called Clueless. And to answer your next question, yes, it was named after the Alicia Silverstone movie.
I've still never seen that.
That's because you're like so totally clueless.
And this song is written about May?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit more angsty, but I guess you can call it my love letter to her.
I think you actually wrote it about Rachel.
Well, things are finally getting steamy here on The Note with Atomic Rod. Listeners, we'll let you decide who the song was written for. This is Clueless.
She's staring at me to penetrate my mind. Plays me like a piano out of time. With her round black frames, driving guys and girls insane. Clueless till we hear that school bell chime. While she's standing reading Hustler magazine, leaning against the walls of the mezzanine, and those high heel boots that my mind just won't shake loose
Raven, I'd like to ask you a bit about Run Rabbit Run, being a fan and all. Oh, great. I haven't even asked a question yet, and she's already groaning.
Come on, man. We're here to talk about Atomic Rod.
Atomic Rod!
Would you stop doing that?
No!
Raven, I know you've spoken about creative differences, and I did honestly feel like the last album was a Grace Note solo project in all but name. Grace Note is Run Rabbit Run's lead singer for all you non-believers.
One of the lead singers.
Right, but come on, creative differences, that's an excuse for the press. What's the real story?
There is no story. I just wanted to move on. Getting back to my rock and roll roots felt like the best step forward.
Raven, tell him the story about Flat Note taking mushrooms at the Canadian border. Ow! That's my bass drum foot.
Flat Note? You mean Grace Note? Is that your nickname for her?
I believe I can provide a different perspective here. I actually worked as a behind-the-scenes cinematographer for the Now or Never tour.
Oh, Now or Never. That was their biggest album.
Yes, I know. I watched Rachel work tirelessly on her songwriting. She clearly was the most dynamic singer. However, her producer, maybe justified given the song's performance on the Billboard charts, increasingly insisted more and more that Grace Note sing everything.
That's because he's a corporate tool.
You know, I'm with Jeff on this. Let's stick to talking about Atomic Rod.
Yeah.
Well, just to segue, in all your tenure as a rabbit, did you ever record an Atomic Rod tune with them?
We did play Wanna Get Crazy.
Now we're talking.
I even thought about bringing it in for the first album, but Jeff and I were still in our trial separation period, and I didn't want to deal with splitting publishing with him.
Yeah, I would have loved to have had a credit on one of those albums. Could have opened a lot of doors for me personally.
That's all right. It wouldn't have worked out anyway. That song is nothing without my brilliant drumming on it.
Does Crazy Jane make another appearance here?
No, it was... Jeff, who was your stupid friend who had us play at his house party?
Nick Hopkins. Congratulations, Nick. You're famous now.
Darling Nikki!
I don't know what Nick put in those shots, but I was fucking wasted that night.
Oh, me too. The whole night's a blur.
May, how many shots did you have?
Oh, I did not partake.
Yeah, she was underage.
So were you. Besides, I had a college interview to prep for the next morning.
Oh, yeah, actually, I had one the next morning, too, so I missed out. Man, I wish I hadn't. God knows what Raven and JJC did that night.
Dude.
Sounds like they got crazy. And that's the song that almost made it to Run Rabbit Run's album. Here it is now.
Sitting here alone, sipping something sweet. This party's lamer than a Sunday school. All dressed the same, following the herd. You can't reach ecstasy, trying to be cool. Dark out, break free, lose yourself to the symphony. I wanna get crazy, burn down your mind, get your ass off the couch and get your body close to mine. I wanna get crazy, feel it from behind. Hold on tight and let's rock it all night. Well, it's 1:30, but the night is young, so won't you come on in for a while? Don't you blink, just grab a drink and we will sing to this pretty ballad style. I wanna get crazy, burn down your mind, get your ass off the couch and get your body close to mine. I wanna get crazy,
That song would have killed on the first album.
Oh, dude, when Raven and I finished writing that one, I was like, this is it. Screw Avril Lavigne. This is a hit song.
Hey, what did we talk about? No bad-mouthing Avril Lavigne.
From that point on, I said, this is no longer just for fun. We need to get serious. I started reading everything I could get my hands on about songwriting. I had Rolling Stone's History of Rock book. May had some theory books I borrowed. And I devoted every minute I had towards Atomic Rod getting a record deal.
And thus, the evil genius was born.
And your grades started slipping as a result.
Nah, I never got good grades either.
Yeah, you were too obsessed with losing your virginity.
Besides, all that hard work did pay off. Raven ended up with a record deal. That must have been exciting for you all, hearing your bandmate on the radio.
Hell yeah! I'd be at work when a Run Rabbit Run song came out, and I'd say, oh yeah, I was totally in a band with her. I'm a badass. And everyone's like, hell yeah, you are.
Where do you work again?
I work at a law firm.
Oh, I'm trying to imagine Conan the Barbarian working at a law firm.
First night we reunited, I said to the audience, anyone planning on getting drunk and disorderly tonight, here's your lawyer.
Well, paralegal, but I'll take it.
Yeah, dude, you gotta quit that stupid job and focus on the band.
Hey, I still gotta pay that ever-dreaded rent.
So we know Jeff missed out on his royalties, but you had a solo career. You hit the road as well.
I did, but nothing that's gonna go down in the history books. I did a West Coast tour a couple of years after we broke up, which I blew my college savings on. We got to this gig in middle of nowhere, Utah, only to find out there was no gig, and my whole band bailed on me. I actually seriously considered disappearing into the wilderness of Utah, leaving society behind, living off the land.
That's a good way to contract Lyme disease.
So then it must have been hard for you to watch your former collaborator skyrocket while you were in this kind of slump.
I was happy she was doing well. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't bring up some negative feelings. Nothing a good amount of alcohol can't fix.
I believe resentment was what you were feeling.
I don't know if I'd call it that. I'd never want to be in a sellout band like Run Rabbit Run anyway. No offense, Rach.
None taken.
And let's face it, I was never going to be a pop star writing those dreary tunes, as one record exec told me. Still, I guess the only solace I found was daydreaming that it was me and Raven on the radio together.
Can you break through this firewall of madness? It's true, this new dictator preys on malice. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. This town has found a way to cope with violence. No sound. Rebound. The ignorance of silence. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. Can't face the news. Can't face the fray. Daydream away. Until you're old. Until you're gray. Daydream away. What can can't face the fray. Daydream away until you're old, until you're gray. Daydream away. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. What can you do? What can you say? Daydream away. Can you break through this firewall of madness?
But that's really why we started a band to begin with, turning all that teenage angst into something positive. That was the whole philosophy of the 90s. And then growing up in that post 9/11 insanity gave us no shortage of things to yell about. Terrorist threats, war in the Middle East, government propaganda.
American Idol.
And I am being sincere when I say the one thing I always had to look forward to, one thing that kept me from being committed to Arkham Asylum, playing music. Those times we got to play, write songs, turn anxiety into excitement. They were just total spiritual healing. That's why we've reunited again.
Amen, brother.
This has been Jeffrey Callaghan, your spiritual guide. Please donate $300 for your copy of his latest book, The Tao of Jeff.
Hey, when are we gonna get to hear me sing? I've got angsty feelings too, you know.
You have feelings?
Every show we've done since we reunited, the crowd goes wild when Conan the Barbarian sings.
Well, you didn't sing at the gig in New Haven. You weren't even there for the first 20 minutes.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Wait, what happened in New Haven?
He was late.
I'll tell him. It was Friday night, and my firm got this case dumped on us about a certain politician that got caught with a hooker.
Ooh, I like these details.
And my boss said I had to stay late. But trust me when I say I was racing my ass up to the gig.
Yeah, we managed to make it work. We did a 3-piece acoustic set. Conan still made it for the rest of the show, and the audience loved his antics.
You see, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, right.
Well, then let's dish out another rocker with Conan the Tardy Barbarian singing Bipolar Weather. Where did that title come from?
Let's just say it came from personal experience. I didn't even feel comfortable singing it, hence why Conan took the vocal.
All right, then. Let's listen.
I don't want your sympathy. Don't need more ecstasy. Okay, just a bit maybe. For I act so viciously.
Raven got bird, she's down for the count. Jeff is frozen in ice, he's out for the count. May is moving out west, she's down for the count. This bipolar weather is making me lose control. This bipolar weather is taking a deadly toll. I can't tell you whether it's hot or it's freezing cold. It's bipolar weather. The city's on fire, it's out for the count. Country's frozen over, it's out for the count. The world's turning over, it's out for the count. It's out for the count. Out for the count. It's bipolar weather. Yeah, that's how it's done.
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy playing that bass line. One of the few riffs I was allowed to come up with.
What are you talking about? You wrote a ton of bass riffs.
I seem to recall you dictating what I should play, especially later on.
I mean, if I had a bass line in my
And I'm like,
head,
hey, I'm the bass player of Atomic Rod. Why don't you just let me play my bass?
Oh, come on. You had the same issues in Rabbit. You got a vision in your head. You want to see it complete.
It is not the same, Callaghan.
All right. Jesus.
Did they always argue like this?
You kidding? This is them getting along.
I can attest to that.
So, let's travel back in time 10 years to your last gig at the bitter end before you broke up. May, Conan, you weren't there.
No, I got fired.
You didn't get fired. You weren't available for the gig. You were too busy jerking off.
I was getting ready for college.
In Miami Beach?
Well, prepping for college is stressful. Doesn't hurt to unwind with a little water skiing a few times a day.
Well, it did when we had a showcase in front of record execs.
Well, it was kind of a vacation for the band as well, man. You really earned your nickname, the Evil Genius, dictating everything in that last year.
Well, somebody had to be the adult. We were on the verge of making it. The band had to be in tip-top shape, and we had to be available for all gigs, and show up on time, and we still do.
Oh my God, are you still on that?
Hey, children, can we do this another time? Like when we're not on the radio?
No, this is good. Everyone loves drama. It makes things more interesting.
I think I've dealt with enough drama for one lifetime.
Okay, so Conan left to soak up the sun. May?
I resigned shortly after our tour in Maine.
Did you leave to go water skiing as well?
I'd rather not discuss it, if it's all the same to you.
Something must have happened up in Maine. Jeff, what'd you do this time?
We just had a rough couple of gigs. Rachel was having a tough time. Her brother had passed. Sorry, Rach.
Yes, sorry. He got killed in Iraq. I didn't want to press the issue earlier.
Yeah, he should never have gone. He could have been the next Jack White. Then 9/11 happened, and he gave up his dreams to join the service.
Did his loss affect your music at all?
I did write Can't Stop Now while we were on the road.
That's my favorite song you wrote.
You wrote that in Maine.
Not in Maine. Jeff and I were driving back after staying in a hotel room in Boston. I took out my journal, and these words just kind of wrote themselves. I was not in a great space in terms of my health or sanity. I don't know.
Yeah, it had been another one of our alcohol-fueled nights. Don't ask me where we got it.
So, you and Raven were sharing a hotel room together.
Jesus Christ, would you knock that shit off? It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, now it all makes sense. May, do you care to comment on all of this?
I don't see there's any reason to dwell on it. It's all superfluous in retrospect.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing this daytime talk show bullshit.
Rachel.
Oh, come on, Raven, don't leave.
Where are you going?
Rach, sit the fuck down.
I promise I'll behave. Raven Jones just walked out of the show.
I'm so tired of dealing with this.
Now, where are you going?
Is everybody leaving now?
Rachel!
Wow, 2 walkouts on one show. This is a moment for the note.
So I guess now's a good time to talk about a new project May and I are starting called Mayflower.
Yeah, well, you may need to do that. Look, let's take a minute for everyone to calm down and listen to this emotional ballad by Raven Jones, or Rachel Fuller. It's called Can't Stop Now.
I ride the open road from midnight till dawn. I brave the freezing cold with few layers on. I hear him say to me, another daydream. Stay on the road you choose, one life is all you need. My legs are shaking, my chest is aching, but I'm standing
When we debuted this song on my last show with the band, Rachel put her bass down and ran off the stage in tears. Jeff ran after her. I was still playing this string outro, but I could see my boyfriend embracing my best friend on the side of the stage. That's when I realized the truth.
I see. And how do you feel about all this?
I was experiencing a lot of complex emotions at the time. But I had to accept the reality that, well, for one, we were in high school. I had read enough literature to know that teenage heartache was practically law. And raging hormones aside, Jeff and Rachel were just more compatible with each other. Still are. I just don't believe holding on to resentment is a healthy way to live.
There they are.
Did you guys work it out?
Shut up, Conan.
All right, let's all take it easy now. I don't know if you heard what May was saying about you two being more compatible.
Yeah, I heard it. Look, I'm definitely not proud of the way we handled it. This reunion is literally the first time May and I have talked since, and you are the bigger person for saying that, May, but it doesn't matter. It didn't work out between Rach and I either. We were at each other's throats at that bitter end gig.
Well, at least I'm not the one who got thrown out of the venue for picking a fight with the bouncer. Probably the stupidest thing I ever saw you do, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I wish I had seen that.
Well, you know, it would have been nice of you to back me up instead of shaking hands with record execs.
What was I supposed to do, Jeff? Not take the job they offered me because they wouldn't accept Atomic Rod? They weren't interested in your band. You didn't even have a band anymore. What would you have done in my position?
I don't know. I've spent the last 10 years replaying that whole scene in my mind.
It's so interesting. 10 years later, and you're all still working through all these same band problems.
You have no idea. Sometimes thinking about all that went wrong will take me to a really dark place. Even back then, when I got thrown out of the bitter end, I considered jumping in front of a subway car.
Jeff.
Well, I, for one, am glad you didn't jump. And you said it before, Jeff. This reunion is like our second chance. Remember the ancient Greek proverb, art from adversity.
Thanks, May. I probably had that one in mind when I wrote Sweet Raven. That's one of our new tunes.
Yes, let's talk about that. Not only does Atomic Rod play their classic 2000s hits, they're still writing songs together.
Well, Sweet Raven was written only a couple of years ago. I was listening to a bunch of old school R&B at the time.
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
And I wrote a song about Raven, hence the title. I guess I realized that what I missed most was our intense musical bond that I was never able to recapture with any other bands. So, cut to our first reunion show. We got together at my place. I played her the song on piano. She picked up my guitar and came up with some ideas.
Yeah, thankfully JJC can still write a tune.
Well, let's hear JJC serenade us with a brand new Atomic Rod song. This is Sweet Raven.
As I wander late at night with the lunar eclipse by the shore, and I ponder over a fight I had with a sister years before. We used to spend all our time running through the city like we owned it. I never read the warning sign. Our friendship was shattered. We disowned it. I hope you don't mind, but if you're inclined, I've got to ask you, why don't you just fly back, sweet raven? Come on and fly back to my shoulder. Fly back, sweet raven. Let's do always have a date by their side. It doesn't matter who's around, she's still front and center in my mind. I got to reach you, oh I beseech you, please let me ask you, why don't you just fly back, sweet raven? Why don't you fly back to my side? Fly back, sweet raven, let's do it over and over and over and over. I said fly back, come on and fly back, sweet raven. Come on and fly back, oh please baby, why don't you fly back, sweet raven. Let's do it over, 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 let's do it, sweet raven. Come on and fly back to my side. Fly back, sweet raven. Let's do it over. Fly back, sweet raven. There goes my voice for the evening.
Oh, that tune gets me here, man.
Thanks.
So, what did your muse think? Raven? Did his performance move you?
Meh.
I think if Raven Jones said something nice, she would explode.
I probably would. But if it's any consolation, sometimes on the road when I'd be arguing with Flat Note over eating all my Oreos that I bought with my per diem,
Man, talk about a scandal.
I would say to myself, I miss Atomic Rod right now. You remember me saying that, May?
Yes, I actually missed it too. I got to be a rock star for 2 years instead of sitting in front of my computer editing curling reels.
Hey, I happen to like curling.
Hey, I'm with May. I work in an office all day, but a couple times a week I get to be on stage pounding drums. Yeah, I guess I could have been more committed to the band in high school, but hey, I made my choices, and at least I'm able to pay that ever-dreaded rent!
Well, trust me when I say nobody missed it more than me. Atomic Rod was literally my teenage dreams of being a rock star coming to life and then crumbling before my very eyes. Not a day has gone by that I don't think about it. Now suddenly this reunion has presented itself and I'm thinking, okay, we're older, we're adults, we've matured. Well, maybe Conan hasn't.
Hey.
It's like, you ever wish you could go back in time to when you're young and do it all over again, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, but you can't relive the past. Trying to recapture the glory days and get the old band back together still isn't going to erase all the scars we suffered 10 years ago.
True.
I already lived the rock star fantasy, whatever that means. I've stood on huge stages, just counting down the seconds until it was over. I don't really care about that anymore. I just want to play music that gives me a rush and rock out with people that feel the same way. Evil genius he may be, when Jeff and I are sharing the mic together, all the bullshit goes out the window. That's why I rejoined Atomic Rod right here, right now.
Wow, you actually said something nice.
And I didn't explode.
It's all so beautiful.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Melvin.
Well, I, for one, am glad to have you all back. All teasing aside, I think it's commendable that the four of you have put aside your past differences and reunite for the sake of the music. Really been a lot of fun listening to it with you all. We have time for one more song to close us out.
Hey, play that other new song Jeff and I wrote. I like that one. It's raw, it's epic, kind of a Zeppelin thing. I heard Jeff kicking around until I wrote the bridge, which is the best part of the song.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Yeah, we all know the song was nothing until I started playing drums on it.
Oh, but
Yes,
of
what would
course.
we do
the
without
great
you,
Conan the
Conan?
Barbarian.
Hey, it's not a contest. Everyone brings their own unique personality to the music to make it special. Although I believe we can all agree that I'm the most gifted musician of the band.
I resent that.
Since when did you get so full of yourself?
So, Evil Genius, what's next on the agenda?
Well, we're in Asbury Park this weekend, and we're just gearing up for the Cortland Festival.
And by the way, you can thank me, or actually my publicist, for getting us that slot at Cortland. Are we even now, Callaghan?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And with that, we've solved all the world's problems. We've got another new gem to play us out. What's the name of this one, JJC?
It's called Link to the Past, and to answer everyone's first question, yes, I named it after the Legend of Zelda game.
It's a good game.
Here it is, Link to the Past, while moving forward with the Atomic Rod reunion. I'm the Mad-Hattan Hatter, and this is The Note.
Atomic Ride!
The dark world is open up like the parting of the sea. And stone-faced, I look up to familiar screaming trees. But the sounds that they make are just so unique to me. Link to the past, back from the meteor blast. Link to the past. I walked